So I'm Mary McLaughlin, and I grew up in Jamaica. You wouldn't know it, right? Like diversity and from Chicago. So I grew up in Jamaica, was educated there, married my high school sweetheart. We're still married after 44 years. That's in 1972, before most of you were born. And I grew up on a farm in Jamaica. And on that farm, we had a lot of fruit trees. You think of fruit trees in this part of the world that mainly give you desserts, apples, peaches, pears. But in the tropics, you have trees that can actually feed you and keep you alive, sustain you. And that's what has driven me as I've gotten older. And I began to worry about some of the most pressing things on the planet: food security, climate change, lack of opportunity for employment and development. So I decided I would plant the tree that I thought was the most awesome tree in the world, and that's the breadfruit tree. If you've never heard of it, go home, Google it, look at it. It's an amazing tree. It's a tree that lives for about 100 years, and it produces these amazing fruit. And the fruit aren't desserts. They're fruit that can keep you alive. It's like a giant bagel, like an egg bagel. That's what it looks like. It's about the size of a melon, and it's completely filled with good basic carbohydrates that are rich in nutrients. It's rich in riboflavin, vitamin C, amino acids. If a pregnant woman ate nothing but breadfruit through her whole pregnancy, she'd have a perfectly healthy baby. So if we could plant this tree, and that's how you cook it, if you can plant this tree and have massive quantities of this tree in that band around the equator, that has the poorest people on the planet, then we could help them economically, to address their economies, and we could also help them have more food and live better. And at the same time, we'd be helping the environment. Because when you think of too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that is causing climate change, that carbon dioxide, a lot of it can be addressed, and we can sequester it in the carbon structure of a tree. One breadfruit tree will absorb 2 tons of carbon. So imagine if we can plant 1 million breadfruit trees. We can feed the planet, we can absorb carbon dioxide, address climate change, and we can help people live a better life. Now, these are some slides of some of the people that we give our trees to. We find poor farmers in Jamaica and Haiti, and we give them trees. Their job when they get the tree is to plant it, sustain it, and keep it alive. They have to keep it alive for about 4 years until they start getting food. When this tree starts to produce food, then they have food for the rest of their lives. So that's what we do. We work with community organizations, single mothers, small farmers, schools. We get them trees, they plant the trees, they care for the trees, and then they have shade for wildlife. They have giant leaves that fall and give you good compost to the ground. And then the communities are healthier and wealthier. So that's what I've chosen to do with my life. And what we do with the excess fruit, because if we're going to plant lots of trees, we're going to have a lot of excess fruit. We use that fruit, we preserve it, and we help to feed the poorest children in the country. So that these children in Haiti will go to school, they'll come to school, they'll have a full stomach, they'll have enough energy to keep them going, and then they will become good citizens of our planet. So that's what I do with my life. I love it. It's the most amazing thing to do, because you're helping a generation. You're helping people in the future. You're paying forward in the biggest possible way. You're helping people to live such a productive life. So thanks for listening to me. This is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.